save yourself. Had to switch lanes cause they on the highway to hell. Mind shift quick, you know, I've been breaking out the cell. I've been on a mission with the plan and it won't fail. You just gotta slow down, you just gotta slow down, you just gotta. Alright, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Elico. Just want to shout out everybody, give an appreciation. You feel me? Thank you to the feedback, comments, everybody watching my videos and, you know, actually tuning in. Even if you don't comment, you still hit me with a view and help me out with views and, you know, just showing support. I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all. Today we switching it up. Yeah, y'all thought we was only talking about rap and music and hip hop. Nah, today I'm in my nerd bag. I'm a huge game nerd. If you didn't know, now you know. I love video games, I love media, I love art, I love music, I love watching shows and watching movies and binging things. It's like a family bond thing that we had since we were kids. My parents used to binge shows and stuff, and then we kind of got hooked onto it. And now, like, everybody's on it. Everybody be binging, whether it's like a show or movies or binging a gym routine. You know, we just binge. We be binging. I want to start my game series off with classics. You feel me? And games I grew up with and appreciated, and something that I've put over 10,000 hours of training in. You know what I mean? I done put in some work. Shout out to my brother and, you know, my sister and even my son told me that I should make a Megaman video. So what I got for y'all today is, well, my first video for today is a little breakdown, little breakdown on Megaman. And in particular, we're doing Megaman X, based 100 years from the original Megaman, who was created by Dr. Light. OG Megaman. We got the OG Megaman here. He was based in 2020. It's crazy, right? So he was made in '87. They made him in '87 till now, been present. You know what I mean? Look at all these games. Look at all these games. There was a drop down. You know, they didn't make games for a little while. But the first Mega Man was made in '87. '88, they made Mega Man 2. '89, 90, they dropped again. Wily's Revenge, Mega Man 4. You know, they made another Mega Man 2, but it was for Game Boy, so they were switching it up, you know, bringing it into different devices and whatnot. Mega Man 5, you got 92, 93, Mega Man 6, the Wily Wars in 7, 95, 8, Mega Man 8 in 96. One of my favorite Mega Mans of all time, honestly. I remember my aunt hooked us up because we were asking her for a Christmas gift or like a birthday gift or something like that back in the day when I used to live in Cleveland. And she basically hooked us up with a Mega Man collection game from back in the day, like the anniversary collection. This is the Mega Man 8 anniversary collection edition. This is like one of my favorite games of all time, man. Probably, if not my favorite, other than Ratchet and Clank and a couple others like Assassin's Creed, different shit like that. You know what I mean? GTA definitely up there too. GTA, like, I think I've put at least 10,000 hours within each game. You know what I mean? GTA, you got the Spider-Man games that came out in the PS. Like, the first Spider-Man game I remember was like back in the Game Boy Advance days and the Game Boys and shit like that. But Spider-Man 1, I remember on the GameCube and the PS1. Yeah, I ain't even hit 30 yet, but I remember the PS1, y'all. But I'm pushing that. I'm on Unk status. I'm not gonna lie. But the reason being that I'm you know, showing love today is because me and my son been binging the hell out of Mega Man the past couple of months. You know, the Mega Man games on my computer. I was able to find a download. We were able to get that and we got it off this website. So we be streaming a couple of different games. We don't necessarily stream them, but we'll play them and whatnot. And I love to put my son on the different situations, whether it's like a show or characters or games. Like, put him on the Sonic. Love Sonic favorites are like Knuckles, Tails, Shadow, Silver. We was playing Sonic Heroes. We was playing like TMNT. He rocks with like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Y'all already know the vibes. You got TMNT in there. Feel me? But we got Megaman X today. And I feel like a lot of the videos that I've watched throughout time have basically broke them down, and there's a lot of different like guides throughout the different levels and whatnot. I pretty much got the breakdown of, you know, one of my favorite characters of all time, Heroes. He's had a lot of different side quests and, you know, spin-offs. There's alternate universes, plenty of different characters to break down and kind of go through and appreciate. You know what I mean? Shout out to this page. This is a page I used to go on like every day looking for news or looking for something new, trying to get all the information I could. These are all the different versions of Mega Man and Zero on the Mega Man Zero and ZX series. I didn't really get to play those as much
or Legends as much growing up, so I'm not super familiar. I'm familiar with the Zero and the ZX story, but I would have to play it myself to really get hit for real. And we got Legends that takes place like way after all this other shit. So yeah, never really tuned into that one. And then the Battle Network and the Star Force were shows, so that was a lot easier to get into. And they gave a lot of props to Proto Man, man. Shout out to Proto Man, that's my dog. And Beat and Rush and everybody. Mega Man doing his thing. Mega Man, aka Rockman, made in Japan, made by Capcom. You know what I mean? Created by this man, the GOAT, Dr. Thomas Light. You feel me? Dr. Thomas Light was working with Dr. Wily to basically create these robots and shit back in the day. Well, technically speaking, if we're technically speaking, they really had just recently made these robots together. Or, you know, Dr. Light was making these robots and Wily was mad and he was jealous. So he went and betrayed him and he took a bunch of Light's robots. They were colleagues. They studied the Robot Institute of Technology, RIT. And then when young, Wily was responsible for the double gear system that got shut down and later severe risks posed to taking robots beyond their limits. The end of his project made him angry with Light, ending their friendship. After they graduated, they became bitter rivals during their professional lives. Though Wily won many awards in his time, he was consistently upstaged by Dr. Light, and this wounded his pride. He was tight. He got sick of it, bro. He was jealous. Hater energy, bro. Tired of always being one step behind Dr. Light, Wily moved to the Pacific Ocean, created a giant robot factory, went missing, secretly plotting to take over the world. And throughout that time, like basically, Wily made Proto Man the first humanoid robot with feelings. However, Proto Man, he had a defect going on with the solar reactor, so he ended up leaving Dr. Light's lab, and he was worried about trying to be changed. And then he started wandering around and trying to figure out what the world was like. That's why I rock with Proto Man, man. He was questioning reality and existence and all that shit. And, he didn't want to be a part of the Matrix, bro. He was like, nah, fuck that, Light, I'm out of here, bro. But Light was really just trying to help him for real. Dr. Wily pulls up and he starts telling him about all this shit, modifies him, gives him a new nuclear core and additional equipment. Fortunately, there was still a defect existing in his reactor. Dr. Wily didn't even care. He just kept doing what he had to do. And Dr. Light, on the other hand, was creating robots to help humanity. After an unknown time, Wily enacted his evil scheme, claiming he would achieve this by stealing the robots that he did. And that's what I was telling y'all about, Then eventually Dr. Light makes Rock, aka Megaman, and starts whooping Wily's ass for years, bro. I don't know why Wily keeps trying, bro. This man is insane. You feel me? And then throughout time, that's that. You got their battles, and then throughout time, you fast forward into the Mega Man X series. The reason why all that is important is because though Dr. Wily passed away, and the reason why everything on that is so important, like the origins of Mega Man and everything, is because while all this was happening, Wily was still scheming. He was plotting and scheming. He kept losing and losing and losing, and he was just like determined to make the strongest robot ever, right? Dr. Wily ends up making Zero, bro. Shout out to Zero. This is the second protagonist of Mega Man X, and they got a dope ass picture of him on like Mega Man X4 or 5 maybe, where he still had his Buster and he has his infamous Z-Saber. They got his different looks throughout the games and shit, except like X7 and X8, which that they would have like thrown a little vibe in there for the X7 and X8, like a little appreciation. But yeah, you got Zero. He was created by Wily sometime in 2020, which is dope because that was like literally like 4 years ago now. I've been playing this game since like literally like 99, 2000, bro. Literally one of my first memories as a kid, as a baby, as a like child. PS1, like I remember my parents playing on the PS1 and the PS2 and everything. So yeah, Mega Man and Zero are like huge, pivotal like in my life, and huge influences. I'm gonna end up probably making some gameplay walkthrough videos on like Mega Man and shit one day. That's something I've always wanted to do. There used to be like hella Let's Play videos and walkthrough videos and shit like that, and I feel like the only thing that we have nowadays are like small clips and viral clips and shit like that. We gotta get back into like doing shit for ourselves and doing what we like to do and doing what we love, you know what I mean? Not just for the click, because it could happen. You could easily go viral, bro. You could easily, pop off or whatever. But if you're doing what you love, why stop? You feel me? Okay, back to Zero. He was created by Dr. Wily sometime in 2020. He first alluded to the construction of Zero and base's ending on Mega Man The Power Battle, which is an older game, describing him as a new robot to surpass both Mega Man and Base. Wily showed a glimpse of Zero to base in its ending in Mega Man 2, The Power Fighters, where a silhouette of his body can be seen, which is crazy because, you know, when I was a kid, this was like a plot twist. I did not know Dr. Wily made Zero, bro. I thought that was so dope. And then I eventually started getting hip to like the older games and shit like that, and then they would show like the flashbacks and whatnot. So I was like, wow, they've been kind of showing that Zero was created by Wily, bro. You just wouldn't really know until you start getting in depth with it. So shout out to Zero, Dr. Wily, and Capcom for doing some dope shit. You know what I mean? Kind of wish that they wouldn't have made so many extra games and just focused on that X series for a little bit more, and you know, put in some more effort to like the last couple of games, because like this was like such a crazy video game series, man. A lot. I feel like we were spoiled back in the day with like all the different series that we had, like Final Fantasy and GTA and Mega Man and Ratchet and Clank and all these games that had like 5, 6, 7 games. To where now you don't really see it too often, other than like Call of Duty and shit, Fortnite. But you got like seasons, not really like series. You feel me? And then like sub series and spin-offs and different shit like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out to Zero, man. He kind of reminded me of Proto Man a lot, which is crazy. So this says he allegedly used Proto Man as a starting reference for Zero's design. Ultimately, his goal for the robot was to find light's final work and destroy it, which was X, low key, and also spread another evil creation, which was the Maverick virus, which Zero contained. However, he contained a flaw in his cognitive programming that made him violently disobedient. Because of this, Wily planned to flush Zero's mind using the Maverick virus, but ran out of time as he neared the end of his life. Both Zero and the Maverick virus unfinished, Wily sealed them away in a hidden laboratory. So can you imagine, like, you know what I mean? If Zero would have been, like, completely fixed or capable, this man was already the strongest robot, and he wasn't even, like, complete yet. So you go into 100 years from then, 2120. That's the time of Mega Man X. And you got Zero, whose location was discovered by a group of Reploids. Storage was in close proximity to where X was stored. Once awakened by the group, Zero destroyed them, as well as any further intruders who would enter the lair. Labeled a Maverick, Zero was later cornered by Maverick hunters inside. He destroyed everything, man. And he was at such a point to where they had to literally bring Sigma, who was like the elite unit commander at the time in general and everything like that. And let's see if we have Sigma. This is Sigma, y'all. Sigma is an asshole. To say the least, bro. He's an asshole, bro. No bullshit. He's the final boss. He's like the main villain for real. A lot of my music themes when it comes to like the harder side, like the metal and the trap metal and the rock shit, a lot of that influence comes from like the different games that I grew up with and the different shit that I used to grow up and watch. Mega Man, for perfect example, you got the old WWE games and the old WWE style, like Ruthless Aggression and, you know, the Attitude Era and all that. It was definitely real punk and grunge. So Sigma he was their leader at first. As they wrote down here on the fandom, that Sigma was once the honorable commander of the Maverick Hunters. He was an intelligent leader who easily held the respect of his subordinates. He had a tinge of arrogance, but was ultimately a noble warrior who dutifully protected the humans and his fellow Reploids. However, after being infected by the Maverick virus, Sigma's flaws were amplified and his moral ambitions were undone, starting him on a path to become the most infamous Maverick of all time. And this dude was on demon time, bro. The way that he catches the Maverick virus is trying to stop Zero from attacking all the homies. And this is that picture right here. If you go to Mega Man X4, they give little breakdowns on, they give little clips and scenes, and it's basically like a prequel to what's happening, or a build up to what's happening. So yeah, that malfunction happens while Sigma's fighting Zero. There's like a W that pops up in his head, or on his, like, you know, his helmet piece, the blue spot on his helmet piece. W pops up, he starts malfunctioning, and then Sigma has a chance to like punch the crystal, shattering it, defeating Zero. However, the virus entered Sigma's system, so now both Sigma and Zero were infected by the Maverick virus. When Zero, who was brought to Dr. Kane at Sigma's request, who analyzed him upon waking up again, Zero became docile and had no memories of his previous actions, obviously no longer showing signs of Maverick behavior, and he was enlisted into the Maverick Hunters 17th Elite Unit. But unknowingly, Zero still carried the virus, which is something that they kind of play along with throughout the series. They play along with that, the fact that he's still unknowingly carrying the virus. Even in X5 they got this whole story mode that, like, if you don't do certain things on time and shut the missile down on time, like, Zero can get completely affected again, and then we lose Zero throughout the game. Or you can explode the shuttles and, like, basically not explode the shuttle, but use the shuttle to explode the spot that has all the viruses in it. And if you do it on time, you rescue Zero and you guys are Gucci. It's like two different storylines and shit. There's like three different storylines for X5, man. It was crazy because X5 was originally supposed to be the last one. And then eventually the characters or the creators decided to make 6, 7, and 8. And you can definitely see like the drop down on quality when it comes to storytelling. I think the storytelling was like phenomenal and the voice acting was phenomenal for X8. But for X6 and X7, they weren't all that. You know what I mean? There was no voice acting for X6 at all, unless it was for like the little clips that they had. But I can't really remember now that I think about it. I don't think they really had. I don't think they had any fucking voice actors for that. So that's very unfortunate. But yeah. So throughout that time, Sigma eventually turned his Maverick. He declared his rebellion with his Reploids, and they eventually got called the Mavericks. Zero was made the de facto leader of the Maverick Hunters due to being the highest ranked hunter, which is an S rank, who hadn't joined Sigma at the time. Additionally, Zero was approached by X, who sought to help fight the Mavericks. Maverick uprising, despite not being a Maverick Hunter, Zero allowed X to join him on the battlefield. So Zero is a fucking real one for real, because X wasn't even supposed to be there for real. Originally, Megaman X was supposed to be Zero's game, but then they decided to like keep it running with like X. But that would have been dope too. And then that's, I think, eventually why they decided to make like the Megaman Zero series, so they can actually give Zero his props and his flowers and shit. X is still on those games, but he's not the main character. So then that's that. That's X1. You got Zero and X battling Vile. Vile was one of the main antagonists of the game. You know what I mean? He's crazy. He got this like ridiculous beef with X. He can't stand him for some reason, bro. He just doesn't like how weak X is, bro. So he just wants to squash him like a bug, bro. You know what I mean? He feels like he's like a nuisance. And X and Zero go through the different stages. X goes through the different stages. Zero goes to find Sigma's base, and then they meet each other up in the end and find the base, and then eventually like they battle Vile, and then they fight a bunch of different bad guys and villains. When he goes all the way to the end, Vile has the suit, right? And then he captures X. Zero sacrifices himself at first. So the first Zero that we know and we see isn't like the new Zero necessarily. They have his body stored and then they fix it up and then they gotta get it on point. X2 pops up, the X Hunters pop up, they find some of Zero's like body parts and they try to like build them back together. We gotta stop that shit. We be having to go through hell and back to go through these like situations. And if you do it the right way on right time, you save Zero. If not, you gotta face Zero. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not wrong, because I didn't necessarily finish X2 myself, but I watched these gameplays my whole life for like 20 years, but it's so many games that have happened since, you know what I mean? I just got back on the collection this year, so it's been a couple years since I really like took it this serious, you know what I mean? And now that I'm making these videos for music, I decided like, why not? And start off with like my childhood video games. I feel like this game is super slept on now, just because like they never really gave it a real resurgence. They need to bring it back, man, honestly. Yeah, X3. By this point, Zero was made the commander of the 0th Special Unit. I don't know if they meant like 10th, but that'd be dope. The 0th. When the Maverick Uprising and the Doppeltown began, Zero and X were deployed to stop it. However, Dr. Doppler's forces attacked Hunter Bates in their absence. But X was kidnapped by the treacherous Hunter Max. Zero was forced to rescue him and kill Max. This marked Zero's first time as a playable character, which is dope because he wasn't playable at first in the first few games. It was just like showing how strong and hyping how strong he was and all this shit. And then you get to actually witness how strong he is, and he's like way stronger than X, bro. It's ridiculous. X eventually builds up and he gets on his bag, and he gets in his bag. He's strong as hell, though. You know, just to see how strong X is, to see if there's like somebody stronger than him, it's crazy, right? But yeah, you got X and Zero as like some of the strongest robots. What they were bound to do, save the world. You got a couple of these games in here in between, like the extreme games. They aight. Don't waste your time on them, bro. They look ugly. Games are kind of random. You know what? If they would have gave these stories a chance, though, you know, and made them look good, because I feel like they're just so ugly looking. These stories are pretty dope. You know what I mean? You got like a little mini game before the games. You feel me? Basically, like X2 and then Extreme was really X3 for real, and then X3 was really X4 for real. You know what I mean? Extreme 2, X5, X6 for real, or X4, X5 is low-key X7. Think about it for real, which explains why they were trying to, damn, they got Zero looking down bad on X5, bro. It was horrible. Imagine being like 7. Imagine being like 4 or 5 watching this and witnessing this. I'm like, Zero, no. Then you got X6. Weird story, weird game. I played it anyway just because I got love for the games, you know what I mean? After the Erasure incident in X5, Reploid scientist Gate found a small piece of Zero's body, just like X2. Everybody's always finding little pieces of his body. Try to study it, trying to gather information about the Sigma virus and Zero's DNA. Gate went mad and created the Nightmare, a discolored clone of Zero, and called it the Zero Nightmare. Near vulnerable Reploid Max. He's insane on this game, resulted in a worldwide fascination with the Nightmare. As the investigation began, its leader Esau blamed the ghost of Zero for it. After being met with this news, X took the assault on Zero's reputation personally and set out to investigate as well. X wasn't having none of that shit. He was like, nah, not my boy Zero, bro. We just rode the fuck out for Zero and he just saved the world. I'm not going for none of that. Unbeknownst to anyone, Zero had been secretly making a miraculous recovery. Once X destroys the Zero Nightmare in one of the secret areas, the real Zero reveals himself. X is reunited with his friend, mysteriously repaired, and carrying a brand new Z-Saber. Together, X and Zero set out to put a stop to the Nightmare. Who or what exactly repaired Zero after his apparent death in the Erasure crisis was never directly stated, which is exactly why nobody likes this game. Like, you just ended up fully recovered, but it does say, it should be noted that in Japanese, the reunion between X and Zero had Zero state that he laid low until he fully recovered from the damage. And then in the English translation, which I'm sorry, y'all, we don't know how to translate for shit, Zero told X that he repaired himself. Y'all ever seen that cat meme with the 2 cats eating from the food? That's how I'm looking at y'all. What the fuck, dog? You know, you go through that game depending on where Zero's unlocked. Like, he has different options, and there's different options throughout that. And, like, we could, like, genuinely just, like, act like, and we could pretend that game never existed for real. We just go to the next one. This is the first time that, like, X and the Mega Man series move into, like, a 3D form. Very 2D game. Super 2D, as y'all can see. Like, you know what I mean? Old school as fuck. That was what was dope about it. It had, like, that throwback vibe. Oh, by the way, completely forgot. Shout out to Dr. Kane. He's a doctor in the future who finds the capsule of X because in that time, back in the day, Dr. Light was dying and there was a bad time and he had one last robot and he knew that Wily was going to try to find him and shit. So he locked him away and he waited until somebody could find him. Eventually, throughout time, Dr. Kane was going around and we went to the spot and he literally found X. You know what I mean? He was an archaeologist looking for robots, and literally during the archaeological expedition for a fossil that could verify his research about Middle Ages and the Japanese version of plant life, Mesozoic. X was located in the capsule, buried underground in Dr. Light's ruined lab. Excited by this monumental discovery, Kane worked with X and used his design to create the first Reploid on November 22nd, and soon after they went into mass production. As Kane couldn't fully understand X's design, and the Reploids didn't have as rigorous diagnostics as X, some Reploids developed glitches and became Mavericks. To counter such dangerous Reploid activity, Kane agreed to form the Maverick Hunters, and his most advanced creation, Sigma, became the leader of this new organization. Sometime later, Kane presumably ended up studying and repairing the mysterious Maverick Zero at Sigma's request, which is insane, right? Dr. Kane, Dr. motherfucking Kane, man. He's the dawn of all this shit. Dr. Light really is the dawn of all this shit, and Wily. And then you got X and Zero and all that. But it's crazy to think the future is because of X, bro, and Zero. You know what I mean? And the viruses and whatnot. And then you got Sigma in there too. So they're all just really battling themselves. Isn't that crazy? Even with the little video game, you kind of realize, like, you're not in competition with anybody else. You're in competition with you. Or you're just battling you, you know? Or a piece of you. Man, that's deep. That's deep. Shout out to Megaman, bro. Goddamn. Alright, man. Shout out to Dr. Kane. Were it not for Kane's, like, you know, discoveries and shit, or knows what the world would have looked like in 100 years, you know what I mean? In the game, we got X, of course. He's beast. Throughout the games, Dr. Light leaves you capsules, and he leaves you, like, armor. So throughout the levels, you can go through any of the levels and try to find, like, secret locations and secret spots. That was something that was always dope about this game. You can literally, like, move to the side or move to the left, move to the right. Might be able to jump down or break certain walls and literally find armor pieces that were designed to elevate X's powers and get him to unlock his full potential, you know what I mean? But yeah, he's dope. He's fire, bro. They remade the first Mega Man X game for the PSP back in the day and made a Maverick Hunter X game. I genuinely feel like they should make a show, like a cartoon show or something. They brought Mega Man back for this new series called like Level Up or something like that. Secret Level. They made a little episode for Secret Level Mega Man. Looked crazy, but if they could do something like this for the X series, I feel like the X series would get way more light and way more flowers. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep pushing this until we get a resurgence of Mega Man for real, because I did not go through a whole childhood loving this game and understanding and appreciating it just to see it like kind of go to waste. You know what I mean? Definitely one of those games that'll like get you hip to like strategy. It'll get you hip to animals. It'll get you hip to like so many different options. It'll get you hip to like camaraderie and true friendship. You know what I mean? One of those, bro. Goated. Shout out to X6 for having X with the Zero Saber. That was dope. It was dope. X7 was the first time they went into the 3D kind of lane. Years later, the Maverick Hunters are severely crippled as X retires from active duty to pursue peaceful means to ending Maverick conflict. He was tired, bro. Went through all them fights with Sigma. I mean, he nearly lost his best friend like 4 times already, bro. He was sick of it. In his absence, a new Maverick hunting faction known as Red Alert formed around the skilled vigilante Red. Through their standards, were more dangerous than those of the Hunters. And they're not wrong, bro. The Red Alert team was really ridiculous, for real. This is Red Alert. No bullshit. I wish Mega Man X7 wasn't so fucking hard, bro. And like annoying. You know what I mean? It was just like really annoying to play through this game just because of the voices, bro. The voices on this game, voice acting, awful, bro. But the game was so dope. They introduced a new character, Axel. There's this copy shot that he has, and he literally like copies people. He can like mimic appearances and powers of other Reploids. Basically joined the Maverick Hunters. After a while, they didn't really trust him, but Zero found him, and he got him locked in. You know what I mean? I feel like if Zero rocks with you, he's solid. Zero's been through a lot of shit. He's been through a lot of shit. He was in the Red Alert team. He was sick of the Red Alert team. Dipped out. He escaped through the Crimson Fortress's defenses. However, he's suddenly pursued by a Red Alert boy, Mega Scorpio, on his way out and is forced to flee. Fortunately, he ran into Zero on the highway, who helped him destroy the mechanoid. Afterwards, Zero arrests Axel and takes him back to Hunter Base for questioning about the incident. So he's asking him about who his homies are, where he's from, ends up meeting X. X goes off on him about politics with Red Alert, causing so much damage. Axel defends himself by explaining like Red Alert's merciless ways. And as soon as he starts talking about that, it's like, speak of the devil, he's gonna open the door type shit. Red ends up sending a transmission to him, demanding Axel to return. He proposes like a duel wherein Red Alert and the Maverick Hunters have battles all over the globe to determine both who gets Axel and to put an end to their hunting rivalry. And Axel feels himself responsible for the upcoming conflict, and in order to make up for his mistakes, he joins forces with Zero and the Hunters to stop Red Alert, despite their hesitance to allow him to do so. And I just want to shout out the fandom Wikipedia page, because this is so dope, bro. If you didn't know that they had a couple of these, they got a couple of these, not only for like the Mega Man fandom, they have different fandoms for different video games, for different shows and different shit. Get hip. Go nerd out, bro. It's okay. Nerd out a little bit. I'm pretty sure everybody got their little versions of this, Axel and Zero go through the games, you know what I mean? They start saving different Reploids, and they start defeating the Mavericks, aka the Red Alert members. Eventually, X comes back. X joins Zero and Axel. They end up, doing what they gotta do. They beat all the members. X, per usual, grabs his armor up. They go against Red. They beat Red. Go against Sigma. It's one of the hardest Sigma battles of all. God damn time, bro. I'd say like, man, X4 and X7, bro, got some hard ass Sigma battles, bro. They really do. They really do. We got the 3 leaders then learn Sigma is at it again, of course. He was responsible for the manipulating Red Alert and exploiting Axel's abilities. Even after the trio fights him twice, Sigma manages to rise again and punches Axel through a wall, seemingly defeating him. Surprisingly, Red appears and attacks X and Zero. When Sigma is presumably about to possess him, Red uses an A bullet to blast Sigma out of the place through a window, revealing Red to be Axel in disguise. Axel, Zero, and X then flee the I'm not even gonna try it, y'all. They flee the palace. Hey, okay. Then, Axel proved his worth to X. X is rocking with him. You know what I mean? Then they team up and they all team up. X is back. it back in action. So, X8, one of my favorite games of all time, bro. No bullshit. X8 goes crazy, bro. Axel shown to be accepted, obviously. You got him joining X and Zero on missions. He also learned that by now he has made it as a prototype for the new generation Reploids, but the rest of his history is still mystery. You know what I mean? Bars at all times. Axel appears with X and Zero in the outskirts of the Jacob Orbital Elevator, investigating these crab-like mechanoids in Noah's Park. They end up defeating the mechanoid, and the three encounter Vile, who pops back up first time since X3, kidnapped the director of the Jacob Project, Lumine. After that incident, series of Maverick attacks begin all around the globe, per usual, you know what I mean? Revolving around the involvement of the new generation Reploids with the Jacob Project. X frustrated, the conflict restarting so soon. Axel excited by the prospect and helps X accept the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, X been trying to retire for the past 4 or 5 games for real. They just keep bringing him back, bro. He's like, why must we continue to fight? Why? Yo, X low key goes from one of the hardest characters and most savage, not give a fuck characters to real soft. That's all I can say. Shout out to Axel because he goes from a B-list hunter in X7 to definitely on his A-list shit. He was on his A-list shit. He was crazy on this game. And then the weapons that he would pick up would make him indestructible, bro. Low key, he's just nasty, bro. As Axel helps fighting the NGR, New Generation Reploids, he learns that many of them consider him a traitor for siding with the Hunters, as they refer to X and Zero as the old Reploids. Throughout the game, you could talk to the Mavericks and whatnot, right? And they have different conversation with X, with Zero, with Axel, and that's throughout each of the games. But he basically just finds his own path. He also gets to know Vile, dislikes him for being a new face. Eventually, the mastermind of the incident is revealed to be Sigma again. Once Alia compares the data of the new generation Reploids with Axel's similar data, 300s use Jacob Elevator to pursue Sigma to his palace on the moon, where Sigma reveals to Axel that he wouldn't have wanted his help anyways due to being a flimsy prototype. I think he was just saying that to say it, just to hurt him for real. Yo, Sigma is hella broken throughout this game, so I don't know how he's gonna talk to anybody about flimsy prototype when he's literally a flimsy prototype of himself. Sigma gets whopped. Lumine pulls up. Plot twist. Lumine's the bad guy. Lumine starts going crazy. They have 2 or 3 different versions of Lumine on there. The last version was insane. It looks like an angel version of fucking Lumine. It's wild. But yeah, it was really dope. That was a really dope series. The X Command mission it's not necessarily canon, but it is though. You know what I mean? This is also dope. There's other appearances that they show Axel and whatnot. He appeared as an event character in Tower of Saviors. He appears in, which is a X-Dive game. It's a new game that they made for the phone for a little bit, but it's not necessarily a video game, that storyline type shit. He appears as an advanced type support spirit in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. When equipped, it allows for the user to start off with the ray gun equipped, which is really dope. It has a cameo in Zero's ending on Tatsunoko versus Capcom Ultimate All-Stars, where he, Alien X, discovers Zero injured on Earth's moon. Look at that. I bet you didn't even know. that was out. X Command Mission. X Command Mission is one of those games where you either love it or hate it because of the game style. It's RPG, so they don't really give you too much of an option. You gotta move around and whatnot. And they play and they give you those options to, press your buttons and whatnot. If you like RPG games, this your shit. I love the soundtrack. It brings me back. The visuals were dope. The way that they looked were dope. I feel like if they would have given us a little more on our options, shit like that, you know what I mean? But maybe now that I'm older, I can actually play it through and appreciate it a little more and understand it a little more. But basically, you got Axel promoted to a Class S Hunter, heading into Giga City shortly after X is Zero, believing that his copy abilities may have originated there. He joins X's party midway through the mission to infiltrate Olfat Factory, agreeing to fight the rebellion army alongside the resistance. Like the rest of the cast, Axel is able to wield a variety of weapons, specifically handguns, and can access a hyper mode called stealth mode. That's something dope that they have. And they added in the game from the difference that they added from the original X series, that they got these modes that you can put him in. His copying ability grown stronger in this continuity, as he's now able to copy the DNA of 8 bosses via A-Trans, whereas it was mentioned in X7 that he can't copy bosses, just their abilities, but he can literally copy the bosses now. So he's tough. plays a supportive role in the story, appearing in cutscenes and available to speak to at Central Tower between chapters. This copy chip is what gets Marino interested in researching the technology, leading to her discovery that Spider was recorded at a copy chips facility. When the party infiltrates Far East HQ, Axel informs X that the wild Django that they defeated a second time was actually another Reploid mimicking him with a copy like his own, which is crazy. Culprit later revealed to be Colonel Reddit's. Axel is also shown emerging from the elevator in the ocean with the other hunters after the defeat. Great Reddits. I'm gonna get y'all hip real quick. It's alright. I'm gonna get y'all hip. This is Colonel Reddits. He looks crazy. Hold up. Let me get him in here too. Shout out to Spider and Marino. Yo, honestly, Command Mission is one of those games that they introduce some dope ass characters. Look at Spider, bro. He was crazy. Look at that, bro. Look at that drip. Come on, fam. Looks like Cardi. I know Cardi was playing some Mega Man, bro. Stop playing. Sacrifice himself for the greater good, bro. He's fucking real and chose to help X. Venom's revealed he has been mimicking Spider on some crazy shit. In the final chapter, Colonel Reddit reveals that he possesses a copy chip and had been using it to take on the form of Spider. He does so by transforming into Spider one last time to attack Zero, before quickly reverting to Reddit to continue his plan. Isn't that crazy? I just gave you the illest spoiler. Get hip to Mega Man, bro. It's just fire. For real. Got Red in there, you know what I mean? X7, X Command Mission. X8, Axel almost sacrifices himself by saving the team, and Lumine basically hits him with like this hit on his head, kind of like Sigma and Zero on X4. But the thing is, when they're holding him down in the end scene, you can see like this flash appearing in his light inside that helmet thing in the middle, in that glass, and they give like this kind of idea and assumption that he might potentially be going through like a Sigma virus, Lumine virus type energy. You got the Mega Man Zero series with the L4s and whatnot, but we're not gonna break that down too much today, only because I'm not super familiar with the games and I don't want to get something wrong and fuck it up. You know what I mean? But I will play these games when I find the time, and I'll appreciate them a little more. You know what I mean? But the ones that I grew up with was the Mega Man OG games and like the Mega Man X games. And honestly, like these games were more for like Nintendo and shit. I was more on the Sony vibes anyways. I got the Switch. I got a Wii. Well, I had a Wii. I grew up with like the PS2 and the PS3s and Xbox and different shit like that. So if the games weren't on those, probably didn't end up playing them until afterwards and didn't really like gain that much of an appreciation for it. That's Mega Man. That's my video for it. Get hip, find this website, or just find the games. You know what I mean? You can easily find them. We need to bring this back. I feel like it's only right. Very dope concept. I would love if they brought it back and made like a show or made a cartoon series. Me and my son love it. My son loves it. I could literally witness, and I'm witnessing a new generation fall in love the same way that I did when I was younger with the game and with the characters and with the way that the concepts go. You feel me? Bring it back, man. Stop slacking. Stay tuned. It's your boy Elico, man. This is my first video game video. I'm gonna keep making more, you know what I mean? Eventually. Till then, back to the music series. Y'all stay tuned. Stay blessed. You know the vibes. It's your boy Elico. We out.